This Side of Paradise, original Star Trek Season 1, continuing my reviews using my space system, story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. Each category gets a score between 0 and 2, so 2 is the best that you can get in any category. If you get a 5 out of 10, that's a good, because if 1 means good in every category, 2 means amazing in every category, 0 means obviously bad in every category. I'm not comparing Star Trek to Star Wars. I'm not comparing the real Star Trek, which is the classic Star Trek, to, Discovery or whatever that garbage show is. Nobody cares about that show, or if they do care about it, well, I guess they care about it, but they know it's not better than the real Star Trek. So Star Trek's my second favorite show. My first favorite show is Doctor Who, so I'm not even comparing this to Doctor Who. I'm comparing it to itself. We're looking at these, ranking them against each other. Because I'll take if I give something a 7 out of 10, I'm not saying it's a bad episode. I'm saying that I've reviewed a few, like Taste of Armageddon, which is just, to me, like a super classic episode that I love. And then there's ones I thought, yeah, it's okay, right? So for the storyline on this one, I'm going to give it a 1.5. I was thinking about giving it a 1. There's always a few points that I need to have in a Star Trek episode to get a perfect score. Usually it's like every character is useful in some way, or contributes to the story. There usually has to be some sort of alien planet. There has to be some sort of problem to work out, and that's kind of where I start from. So this one fulfilled a lot of those things. I just didn't think the problem was as epic as, like, let's say Taste of Armageddon, where it's like these two planets are killing each other and they've got to figure out how to stop it, versus this was just like, well, everyone's happy on this planet. So they land on the planet, all the animals are dead, there's barely enough vegetation to support just the people that live there. Anything can grow, everyone's always happy. What the heck's going on? That's your episode. I like the storyline. I thought it was cool. It fulfills my requirements. So I liked it. They got to figure out what the hell's going on. So what is going on? Well, there's these spores that exist on the planet. They landed there, and they spray on you, and then everything's healed. You feel good. You feel happy all the time, and that's it. And the way to stop it is by angry emotions. So that's the way to get the effect off. But who wants to be angry? Just live in peace and be happy. Be of the body. So yeah, 1.5. The story, really good story. I really like this one. Pacing, I'm also going to give the pacing a 1.5 as well. It actually is not boring. I do like that the way that they're going through and figuring out. It's like, oh, Captain, got some readings here. Hey, I can't find any animals. Oh, that's weird, right? It's like, there's really not very, there's not even insects. It's like, oh shit, what the heck? Like, so it's a mystery in the beginning, and they're giving it out to you. And then we know that Spock gets the spores, and he has a girl that liked him from before he meets one there. This happens occasionally on Star Trek, where one of the crew, typically it's Kirk's, but there's been a McCoy one. There's been other ones where, like, they meet someone who's a former acquaintance or whatever. So this girl really likes Spock. She's very pretty. She loves Spock, but of course he doesn't love her back because of he's a half Vulcan. And now he can be free to love her. We're gonna get to characters in a moment. So that happens. That stuff is really well paced as well. So for the artistry, I'll give it a 1. Like, everything looks fine, right? Like, I'm watching the upgraded versions. It's nothing like crazy happens. There's not like big massive battle or anything like that where you're like, whoa, this is crazy. It's just, they're in fields and stuff. So, it looks good. Music's good and all that. There you go. One is like good, like everything's good. For the characters, I'm going to give it a 2, of course, 2 out of 2. All Star Trek episodes are probably going to get a 2 out of 2 unless the supporting characters are bad, because the original crew of the Enterprise is just like everybody's awesome. But this one, everyone actually is really good. The guy, the kind of the leader of the faction there, is great too. He's like, he's not like overly fake happy. He's just like, yeah, everything's good here, Captain. Like, why don't you stay? And they're not being dicks, and they're not trying to be mean, and they're not even trying to be like scheming or something. They're just like, yeah, everything's fine. Oh, we're gonna take you off the planet? No, we don't want to go. We like it here. Okay. Like, nothing's extreme, because you can't do extreme emotions. So you got to play it. It's tough. As tough as an actor in that, I would think, that you got to play it in such a way that, look, you can't get aggressive, because that's going to negate the spores. So you've got to be more mellow about the way you do things. But the big thing here, of course, is with Leonard Nimoy, Spock, who can show emotions at once, and he's hanging off a tree and all that. It does lead to some hilarious and not I don't think cheesy, I think actually good comedy, where he's hanging off the tree and he's like, oh, Spock, he's communicating. It's like, Spock is like, hey, Captain. It's like, oh, yeah, we got to come back to the beam up site. It's like, nah, I'm good. And Kirk's like, what are you talking about? What the hell is that? This is an order. I'm hanging on a tree here. And Kirk's just like, what the hell's going on? Even McCoy's like, if you watch, there's a great scene where they're talking on the communicator. Watch McCoy. He's just like, he's doing the eyebrow, like, what the hell is happening? Why is Spock acting weird? That was all fantastic. I love when Kirk realizes that anger breaks the spell, or spell breaks the thing, and then he has to get Spock angry. That was actually really well done. I got a little emotional, which I didn't expect because I've seen this a few times already, and I was kind of like, I was like, oh, Spock, man, it's just to break you out of that thing, and even when Spock's like, goes, well, I just assaulted you. Shouldn't I go to the brig? He's like, well, if we're both in the brig, who's going to build the device? He's like, yeah, that's true. No, great characters in this one. Great stuff. Enjoyment factor 2 out of 2. I kind of really like this episode. I don't think it has the importance of some of these, like the Taste of Armageddon or Corbomite maneuver, where you're just like, or Balance of Terror, where you're just like, oh shit, right? It's not one of these, like, I guess you can call them, oh shit, like, oh man, like, what are they gonna do? It's not one of those. But it's a light episode that still has a lot of really amazing stuff in it. So I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Great Star Trek episode. I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Check out my friend Clobberin Times channel. They do a Saturday night Star Trek. Every Saturday night they talk about 4 episodes from all the Star Treks, the real Star Treks, like the before the JJ times, before the dark times, before JJ. Great. They do a lot of in-depth analysis on that program. So check it out. That's it, everybody. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this one. Until next time.